ADHD diagnosis rates have reached unprecedented levels, with more children getting diagnosed every single year. Nearly 10% of all school-age children in the United States live under this diagnosis and the restrictions that diagnosis places on them. Do you have a very bright, creative child, but who struggles to focus or sit still? Maybe they just fidget constantly, or they have frequent emotional meltdowns, or just feel like they don't want to listen. As a parent, your heart just breaks when you see them struggling in school, or they have a hard time making friends in their social life. You've likely tried various behavioral programs, elimination diets, supplements, and maybe even stimulant medications, hoping that something works to help them calm down. But if lasting relief remains elusive, an overlooked root cause may be to blame: an impaired vagus nerve. Most parents with kids who struggle with ADHD, especially if this is on the hyperactive and impulsive side, live in that fight or flight situation themselves and are worried about how their kids will interact in situations where they need to sit still, be calm, take a test, or even focus. Many parents who deal with ADHD on a regular basis have come into our office hearing about the vagus nerve, but most of the time when they've heard about it, it's in relation to the gut health and digestion side of the nervous system. While the vagus nerve absolutely does influence gut substantially, its unique and widespread pathway influences so much more. Over 75% of all nerve fibers carrying sensory signals for organ function travel along the vagal pathways. This makes the vagus nerve disproportionately influential in coordinating multiple body processes critical for health and overall well-being. When not functioning properly, symptoms like insomnia, headache, fatigue, anxiety, gut issues, and also poor focus occur. The vagus nerve is critical as a messenger, carrying signals between the brain and the organs that regulate heart, breathing, digestion, inflammation levels, even sensory processing, and the entire parasympathetic relaxation system. When this vagal superpathway develops dysfunction from early trauma, whether it's chronic stress or even a poor nervous system communication, children display all the hallmarks of ADHD. Research now clearly ties vagal impairment to attention-focused challenges, hyperactivity, sleep and digestive disorders, emotional dysregulation, and much more. If you haven't exhausted typical treatment options without results, or want to avoid medication, the side effects altogether, specialized testing and natural support and stimulation for the vagus nerve provide new hope to parents who want to put drugs and medications as the last resort. I'm going to take a couple minutes and dig deep into the science behind the vagus nerve. I promise I'll make it as applicable as possible, but it's just fascinating when you map out the development and how those connections are basically made from the time of birth. The intricate neuromuscular tissues and pathways surrounding the vagus nerve are extremely sensitive to both physical tension and inflammation. Physical trauma during birth, infections like pandas or COVID-19, poor diet, and toxins exposure all cause what we call a subluxation path along the vagus nerve, leading to impaired signaling capacity and overall neurological imbalance. With the research that's been done on the topic, we see that there is a correlation between birth trauma and vagal defects. Common birth interventions, including vacuums, forceps, extractions, and C-sections, place enormous physical strain on the vagus nerve and those surrounding tissues. Spinal tension, misalignments, and subluxations frequently occur in the delicate brainstem and upper neck region, interfering with communication between the brain and the vagus nerve and the rest of the body. This leads to alterations in gross motor development, sensory modulation, and overall development, and it can also fuel chronic gut issues, food sensitivity, sickness, and heightened inflammation, all disturbing that vagal tone further, and these conditions persist and become repetitive. Kids don't grow out of the problem. As children grow, regular childhood injuries, poor posture from devices, we all have phones, we're all looking down all the time, dental or cranial restrictions can also place stress on the vagus nerve. Medications like antibiotics can also alter and inhibit key nerve signaling capacity over time by disrupting the microbiome and gut brain connection. Gradually, the rest and digest system stays suppressed and unproductive. Symptoms like headaches, anxiety, poor stamina, intestinal discomfort, sleeplessness, and even heart palpitations increase. Attention span, impulse control, and emotional regulations falter, which are the hallmark struggles of ADHD. The way that we help with the vagus nerve dysfunction in our office is we tailor very unique protocols to each individual's needs, and we work to stimulate and strengthen your child's vagal nerve, restoring nervous system balance very gently but specifically. We know it's hard for most kids to sit still for an assessment, behave for a long time in an office, so we want to allow them the freedom to move around, live their life that's happy and healthy. So what we do is we take a few steps to make it very easy for them. First thing we do is we find the root cause, and that is gathering detailed and personalized case history for each child. Then we determine the current function of the vagus nerve and autonomic nervous system via what's called an insight scan, which actually enables us the direct measurement of the child's subluxation patterns and dysautonomia. This step is considered essential because it allows the identification and tracking of the foundational root causes. The first response most children have to specialized form of chiropractic adjustment is that they sleep better, they feel more calm, and they have improved sensory regulation. If you are ready to address the root cause of your child's neurological challenges head on, we would love to help. Safer, more natural options do exist that address that vagus nerve dysfunction, and it improves neurological communication and overall function. Please, if you hear this, ask any questions that you may have about vagus nerve dysfunction, or leave a comment or send us a DM. Also, if you know of any other parents, family, or even Facebook groups who need to hear this information, I just want to take a second. Please share this with them so that we can get the message out that there is hope. Our goal is to show that there's a proven alternative to the mainstream protocols to help with natural dysfunction that happens when stress gets put on the nervous system, no matter if it's our youngest newborn patients up to our senior oldest patients. The body's designed to adapt to stress, but when it gets overstressed, it loses the adaptability and we start to develop dysfunction. I hope this information helps you or someone you know. Thanks for listening.